Oh, and it's Friday. It's gun day. We have sound. We have sound. Oh, that was awesome to do right next to the microphone.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, push the shooty button while I get my
Roger
coffee
that.
refilled, please.
Okay, it looks like we ran out of music. Good morning.
Good morning indeed. It's Friday.
Yes, it is.
Tell me if I'm wrong. If this doesn't apply to you as well, but I'm in that weird phase of life where, like, man, it's already Friday again, but it flew on by, and yet, as it was happening, it did not feel like it was flying at all.
I stepped on a punchy stick yesterday. I know exactly what you mean. You're gonna talk about something that takes all and no time simultaneously.
Yeah.
So, Firearms Friday.
Favorite day of the week.
Let's say good morning. I see Patrick's with us, and Eric Swalwell's skid marks. And I see Sean Stryker, and there's Megan. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Let's
does he just like sit around and like, okay, how far can I push this YouTube thing to come up? Still
there's Dan with us. Good morning.
And then
I was hoping to see
and
Steve.
then other Dan.
Oh, and Danny and Jen, some more of my favorite ladies have joined us. Good morning, girls.
That's right.
Good
And Anarchy number 2.
And Anarchy, yeah. What's up?
Is Anarchy Egyptian? Because, like, dude communicates in hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphinator. Have you watched any of Anarchy's show?
No, when does it come on?
He doesn't do a live stream. Well, he does an occasional live stream, but he mostly publishes produced stuff. lot of CV stuff and a lot of what do you call them?
Videos.
Well, in specifically videos where like flea market stuff too.
Man, there's a niche for everything on YouTube.
There is. And
Like-
you know, honestly, like if we could take the time on a weekend, there's I think we could generate some interesting content on just flea markets. Because there's basically two things that are interesting at flea markets. It's, oh my God, I can't believe I can get such a great deal on this amazing thing. And then there's, where the hell do you even find something like whatever this is?
See, I'm trying to pull him up, and it's
saying my main channel just got a second strike, so I'm on YouTube. I'm in YouTube jail. That's why I'm on my backup channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, because I kept only finding clips from Sons of Anarchy.
So I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of trying to stall to see if Steve would join us, because this is from Steve, but, well, brother, you're just gonna have to catch it on the replay. I have not watched this yet. Have you?
Well, it's you might want to scrub through a little bit because it's 8.5 minutes long.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Had 14 videos since February deleted by YouTube claiming medical misinformation or misinformation of the 2020 election. I don't know what you're talking about with the election, my man. Like that was the most bestest election ever. Right? Right? Between the 81 million people that voted for Joe Biden and the 74 million people that voted for Donald Trump, you know, what's that, like 155 million people vote just for those two candidates. And then, of course, there's a few million voters that were spread out over the never win candidates. And
Okay, so this is an 8-minute video. We might just have to do this separately.
But how many of those medical misinformation videos have retroactively been proven correct? Like, for example, you could just say
all
that.
of them.
Well, I mean, I'm asking Anarchy specifically. Yeah. Like you can say now that the vaccine's not very effective. It was totally okay when Rachel Maddow was staring into the camera and saying, "Get the vaccine. The virus stops with you if you get the vaccine." So it's like it's
100% effective. If you get the vaccine, you will never get the virus, and you can't pass it on to anybody. Oh, like that's not even a credible. That wouldn't be a credible claim under the best of possible circumstances with any vaccine.
Yeah, there's just no way that the virus could mutate and do what viruses do.
We did pretty good, but there is still such a thing as polio. Super rare, but...
Well, to be fair, though, it's it happens in other countries that use the oral vaccine as in the weaker version of the vaccine. And I think it's interesting. I don't know why it's related, but I just feel interested and compelled to point out that some vaccines are weaker than others. I don't know why that matters in this case, but... Yeah, dude, this is 8.5 minutes long. I should have checked with you last night.
Yeah, we should. We're gonna have to skip this. I want to watch it, but it's 8.5 minutes, and we don't know where the action is. So, you want to start with this one out of Tuscaloosa?
Tuscaloosa, let's do it. Same rules apply. As always, Firearms Friday, we try and show you a defensive gun use story from the past 7 days in order to put it to the lie, rather, that good guys with a gun never stop bad guys with a gun. And of course, we occasionally make exceptions for updates for interesting or high profile stories. So Weekend shooting update. Like this one. Haha. Weekend shooting update. Self-defense cited as investigation continues.
Of course, in fairness, this is an update from yesterday about a story from this weekend. So,
well, last weekend.
Yes, last weekend. Not tomorrow. This is not a shooting that occurred tomorrow that we are beginning the investigation on today.
That would be impressive.
That would be Minority Report.
Right?
Which,
Man.
in fairness, impressive.
Yes, yeah, and man, golly, Minority Report. There's one where, like, the lefties that made and watch and cite the movie, it's like, did y'all watch the same movie I did? Because it's almost like the individual being allowed to dissent, even when it's an unpopular opinion, is real fucking important.
Yeah.
The Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit says they're looking into whether or not a fatal shooting that happened at an apartment complex over the weekend was in self-defense. The VCU said they've spoken to several witnesses and reviewed the evidence in the shooting, which happened at the River Road, apartments around 11 p.m. Saturday. And at this time, they've made no arrests. When the investigation is complete, the case will be presented to a grand jury for an evaluation of potential charges.
Okay, so I have a question. The VCU, the Violent Crimes Unit, is that robbery and homicide? Is that, because usually that's two separate departments, right? Robbery and homicide are two separate departments.
I mean, that varies from department to department.
Apparently.
I mean, it's not even really that weird. It makes sense that if you're going to let local communities decide how they want to police themselves, if in Tuscaloosa, what Tuscaloosa decides is we're going to shunt everything.
I also have a question for Grant. Are we shooting the potato gun at a potato head, or are we putting a potato head in the potato gun? Or can it be all of the above?
I mean, I see. You know, actually, it was a little bit of know-how. A potato gun. I mean, you're not going to take down a bear with it, but you could ruin somebody's day.
So, potato gun is a very broad category as far as caliber and velocity goes.
Very broad.
So you could indeed build a potato gun that will take down a bear.
Yeah, but that's
a lot of potato gun though.
Well, the problem is if you build a potato gun that's capable of taking down a bear,
you don't want to shoulder fire it.
Well, not only that, but you move into some weird territory where, like, the FBI could decide you're building homemade explosives and arrest you. So
yeah.
However, a smaller potato gun, you know, little acetylene fuels, some PVC piping, you could certainly.
And of course, if the FBI were to arrest you for building homemade explosives, that would be a violation of the Constitution.
FBI doesn't care about that.
No, neither does the law, apparently. So
anyhow, we don't know what's going on here. This is super weird. River Road Apartments, blah, blah, blah. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, that story sucked. So.
Well, okay. They're going to refer it to the grand jury for an evaluation. Where's Tuscaloosa, Alabama, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Tuscaloosa. That's Roll Tide.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for them. That's a football thing, right?
You're not actually that ignorant. It's okay. But, in all seriousness, all right, they're going to be presented to a grand jury for an evaluation. Grand juries tend to, not always, but tend to get influenced by the referring attorney.
Right.
Like, if an attorney brings something to a grand jury and says, look at this evidence and tell me if it was murder. Well, the grand jury is likely to recommend an indictment for murder. It's how Kyle Rittenhouse for example, was indicted for murder. Because at any point in time, the district attorney can just decline to prosecute. There's actually a lot of latitude given to district attorneys and judges, and frankly, there should be.
Well, and more importantly, one of the big reasons that the district attorney, in theory,
Patrick's yelling at us.
I see that. Okay, just hold your horses, sunshine. One of the reasons, and it's an important reason that the district attorney has that latitude, is there are some cases where you can look at it and say, oh, so some thug in a hoodie had you pinned down on the ground, beating the shit out of your face, and then he tried to take your gun from you, and that's when you shot him. No, this is obvious. This is a clear-cut case of obvious self-defense, and we're not going to prosecute this. You are already the victim of a violent crime, and have, as a result, been through the trauma of engaging another man in combat. Of engaging another man in mortal combat and taking a human life. Right? Why are we going to take the victim of an attempted violent crime?
I have a theory.
And then traumatize him further by treating him like the criminal that victimized someone?
I have a theory. We're
going to do it because despite his Hispanic heritage, he's a white Hispanic.
Right.
Because I just described a very specific case.
No,
the thing about the Zimmerman case, in regard to your comment there, the thing about the Zimmerman case, the cops on the scene said this was clear-cut self-defense and did not arrest him. Then Eric Holder put pressure on the DA at the time, and the DA said, no, this is clear-cut self-defense. We're not going to prosecute him. And so they fired that DA and brought in one that was friendly to the Holder cause. They just said, hey, who checks the woke boxes and is willing to go after this guy and hang him for being white? And for no other reason, by the way. They decided that he was white, even though he had been Hispanic, Latino all his life. All of a sudden, it was super useful for him to be white.
Yeah. Okay. But I was going to say specifically in this case, here's what I think. This is at an apartment complex at a place called River Road, late Saturday evening. I'm prepared to make a few assumptions just based on that paragraph.
Indeed.
Okay. And then they're going to refer it to a grand jury. They could be about to come back with this thing that you and I have talked about before that we think is a moral evil, that just because you're a criminal doesn't mean you're not allowed to defend yourself. What if this is just pot deal gone bad, right? Legit case of self-defense morally.
Correct.
But the law might look at it and go,
right, the law will be wrong.
The law will look at it and go, well, you were engaged in a felony that would give you between 1 to 5 years in prison, but because somebody was killed while that happened, now you're looking at charges that'll get you at least 30 years in prison, even though you were not the one who initiated the violence.
And there's 30 years in prison. Just kill him. Save my money.
So anyhow, that's my guess. That's my guess as you had two quote unquote criminals, and you said term loosely and only technically correct, but two quote unquote criminals. And the reason why it's being referred to a grand jury is that exactly.
All right. Patrick says we have to watch the video and we get the payoff in the first 30 seconds. I'm going to hold you to that.
I think he's pushing east, so watch on your west side down there, guys. Alright. Just go ahead, watch Madison. Incoming to watch Madison. You want back outside the house, we had a backpack on. firearm medicine.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I got medicine.
Gonna learn today. We 30 seconds in, motherfucker.
Alright, be reloaded. Reloaded. Are those shots coming from the outside? I don't know.
Did he just one shot?
X-ray 316, shot fired, suspects down. Shot fired, suspects down.
Okay. I'll give you that one. I'll give it to you. Because the comment we had was cold as ice. Tacoma police officer calmly sips coffee before eliminating threat with patrol rifle. And okay, fair enough. He's just got, rolling that wheel, sipping his Starbucks. I got to question his taste in coffee, but he's just sipping that Starbucks, steps out, one shot, one kill. Okay, I'll give it to you. That's
I mean, like, seriously, like, that was like a shooting drill. Like, he pulled it out, click, click, and you saw him lean against the car for stabilization, and then, pow.
Yep, pennies to pesos. Pennies to pesos. He went through basic combat training, spent a little time in the armed forces.
He did something. That is not the first time he's fired that rifle.
Exactly. That's not the first time he's fired that rifle.
That is not the first 1,000th time.
That's not the first time he's killed somebody with a rifle like that, probably. Because I'll tell you what. It's one thing to go to the range 1,000 times and get really good at hitting things center mass. It's quite another thing to get really good at and comfortable with selecting an enemy and eliminating him. And it's extra hard to do if that enemy is 300 meters away running across the top of a wall laterally and you got to hit 3 of them with a radio in your other hand. So
put the radio down.
I was calling for support. There was so many of them. Anyway.
Anyhow, we've got more D.G.U.s.
Do we want more of this? Do we want more of this video? No, it's an 8-minute video. I don't care about the rest of it. That was a good shot. That's good enough.
Sean Stryker points out, yes, we all win.
Hallelujah. Okay. Stanislaus County home invasion shooting. Where the hell is Stanislaus County?
That is California.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had to know it was in a liberal.
Let's get there. It's gonna. Oh yeah.
Push your button again because you didn't bring it over.
I'm about to. I wanted to spin it up a little bit before I push the button. A man died Tuesday morning after a home invasion involving multiple intruders with guns, the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office said in a release. Okay, they haven't quite yet referred to the home intruders as victims, but this is California.
Yeah, we're getting there. A man died Tuesday.
Stryker says Stanislaus is NorCal, so this is actually the more conservative part of California, in fairness. The break-in was reported at 6 a.m. in the 2600 block of Gondring Road in the city of Ceres. The sheriff's office, Gondring, it's like Gondring the Foe Slayer.
In the city of Ceres, like that's...
There's a lot to like here. Deputies who responded found a man identified as 22-year-old Christian Sanchez with serious injuries. The sheriff's office said deputies tried giving first aid to Sanchez before he was transported to a hospital where he later died. Residents in the house told deputies that they woke up to a loud commotion they later found out was an unknown number of intruders with guns inside. Sometime during a fight between the intruders and the residents was when Sanchez was shot, the officer said. The home invaders fled immediately afterward. It is unknown if Sanchez lived in the house or if he was an intruder. No.
How is it not fucking known? How do you not know? They're all illegals. It was one group of illegals robbing another group of illegals. Or...
That's the only way.
Well, that's the only way in good faith. This is California. They could be deliberately muddying the water so that if they want to charge the homeowner for murder, they've got all that in place. Because you got to think, juries see this kind of thing. And if a jury sees, well, they were defending their home, even in California, a conviction's going to be hard to get.
Yeah.
So we got to use all this language like this. But the home invaders fled immediately afterward. Man, isn't it funny how quick bad guys are assholes and elbows as soon as you have the ability to fight back? Isn't it just amazing how many bad guys are never shot, hurt, or killed? They just go, never mind, fuck that shit o'clock, bye!
Yeah.
So
Stryker says there's a lot of potheads in that area, so that a lot of growers in that area, says Pitt Danny. Okay, so all of that leads to support your hypothesis. Language is the web of the bar.
They've been having a kind of a miniature debate about the definition of words and why it's important in the context of the thing we were discussing and what lawful actually means and so forth and so on. And Stryker's point there, I'll just tell you, man, I hate the way legalese is written. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. I do think that is part of the point of it, is so that it is a
I was talking to one of our lawyer buddies last night, driving home from my last shoot. Byrne called me, and we got on the subject related to various topics. And he was telling me, Byrne's a smart guy. He has a Juris Doctorate, set the bar in half a dozen states, practiced law for some time before he joined the Army. And he knows his stuff. And what Byrne says about the secret to a happy life is, under no circumstances should you ever allow yourself to be in court. If you never, ever go to court, because the entire system is designed to ruin you. You cannot win.
Yeah, I'm going to refrain from comment.
Stryker says no one wants to learn a dead language like Latin. Most law is in Latin. Yeah, nisi pecuniam omne mihi dabis, emanimitam tuum saxum caput. In fairness, my Latin is a little rusty. It's been 20 years since I learned it, but
yeah, but like, you're the exception to the rule.
I know.
Saying no one wants to learn a dead
lot of rules. It ain't easy being this. It ain't easy being this guy. So,
let's do one more.
One more.
Uno más.
Yeah, because we haven't had good luck with him this morning, have we? We kind of weak
Let's
sauce.
skip that one. Well, no, actually, that's important. That's important.
Okay, so we might have to do two more.
So let's definitely.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, please.
Go for it. No, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. The button's got away from me there.
Anyhow, Outman acquitted in fatal shooting. I'm still going to read the article because I want the specificity of it, but I already know everything I need to know from this fucking headline. Edwardsville. A judge on Monday acquitted an Outman of first-degree murder and unlawful discharge of a firearm because he was defending his home. Oh, God. Don't get triggered, Cameron. Jesus. Judge Neil Schroeder on Monday ruled that Arvin Freeman, 46, of Alton, was justified in shooting Robert Woods, 30, of Springfield, Missouri, in the rear. Whoops. On February 13th, 2021, Woods died from bleeding caused by the shot. Schroeder said that a person is justified in using deadly force if they believe it is necessary to prevent an attack on their home. The homeowner does not have to wait until the attack occurs to apply deadly force. Schroeder said Freeman legally owned the gun fired at Woods, and he noted that, contrary to the state's version of events that day, Freeman shot Woods in the side of his buttocks. Oh, okay, so you shot this guy in the ass, So we're going to charge you with murder. Okay, all right. At a bench trial last week, a doctor testified the bullet that killed Woods traveled from right to left in Woods' buttocks. God, I never thought we'd have this much detail about getting shot in the ass in a story.
Remember the asshole gun?
That one didn't have
It's in the rubber glove.
Nicking an artery and causing fatal bleeding. The judge said that on numerous occasions, including the day of the shooting, Woods had raised a disturbance at Freeman's house on 11th Street in Alton. Schroeder said that on the day of the shooting, Woods had told Freeman he was going to kill. So you've got terroristic threats, probably some breaking and entering, like, whatever. Schroeder said Woods was running away and turned while taking something from his pocket. So you've got a bad guy that's...
From his pocket. Sorry.
Well, look, and that's important, okay? This right here is why that's one of those things where, okay, I understand why your first inclination would be shooting somebody in the back is an automatic murder charge. However, and this is important, okay? If I'm running away from you, I might not actually be attempting to flee. I might just be trying to buy time so I can access my weapon.
You might be trying to take cover so that you can return fire from a tactically advantageous position. And I'm not going to let you take that tactical advantageous position.
Right.
If I can help it.
And then you got a clear case like that. Anyhow, all right, here we go. I'm gonna keep going. Everybody has a right to protect their homes, said defense attorney Brian Polinsky. This is a perfect example of that. It was a very scary situation. State's attorney Thomas Hayne is opposed to gun control, so therefore he should not oppose this decision. Okay, Thomas Hayne, you, sir, you're a piece of shit, okay? Anyhow, Hayne said the right of self-defense is the bedrock value of this office in our community. Then why did you fucking charge him? Some cases involve a very difficult mix of facts and circumstances that make a determination on the applicability of such rights difficult. This was one such case. No, you shithead. Whenever there's a situation where it's difficult to understand where the law should come down, it always goes down on the side of the defendant so you don't ruin somebody's fucking life.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
You mean like if a violent criminal overdoses?
I'm not even going there. I just mean, like, simply put, this guy never should have been charged with murder in the first place. Like, he probably lost his job, probably paid thousands of dollars in bond fees that he's not going to get back, probably paid thousands of dollars in legal fees that he's not going to get back, is probably a pariah in this community because he was accused of murder. And people have a tendency to read the headlines and not go any further.
Yeah, and Haynes says, fundamentally due to its complexity and since a life was taken, we thought it important that the court hear and weigh all the evidence and testimony. No, fuck you. You're an agent of the court. You're an agent of the government. You looked at a clear-cut case of self-defense, and what you thought, what you determined, Hayne, you piece of shit, is that this was a clear-cut case of an opportunity to collect some revenue.
Both attorneys agreed there's a long-standing dispute between the two. According to trial testimony, on the night of the shooting, Woods went to the Alton home. So Woods... So, dude, me and you get into a fight in public and you kill me, that might be murder. Me and you get into a fight in public and then I show up at your house later. That's a different fucking world.
Yep.
Like, this is such obvious. So they've got a long-standing beef, and the one was threatening the other and was willing to go to his house to continue making the terroristic threats. This never, ever should have went. Remember what I said a few minutes ago about how grand juries have a tendency to be influenced by the attorney bringing them the information? Thomas Haynes, you shithead, you brought this to a grand jury and gave him that line to be like, God, you know, And look at this paragraph here. Fundamentally, due to its complexity and sense of life was taken. That's right. He took this to a grand jury and said, the complexity. Right? He took it to it because this is complex and because somebody's died. We should refer charges. And then he says this right here. Though we are disappointed in the outcome, we respect the determination of the court.
Disappointed in the outcome.
You're disappointed that you didn't lock a man up for 30 fucking years for defending his home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're disappointed.
Stryker says judge equals same club as attorneys, and in the vast majority of cases, judges are attorneys. Not all.
You don't have to be an attorney to be a judge. You can be elected.
There are several judgeships which are elected positions that do not require you to have any experience with the law. Many probate court judges are. They don't have to have a Juris Doctorate or any kind of legal experience at all. They're strictly a political appointment or a political elected position.
You could be appointed to the Supreme Court without passing the bar.
And you can pass the bar without going to law school.
Yes.
You don't actually have to have a Juris Doctorate to sit the bar.
That one,
which is also rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that, see, and it's important. This is a bench trial. Okay. And a lot of times your defense attorney is going to tell you that you don't want a bench trial. Right? Because a bench trial doesn't have a jury.
Right.
A bench trial says you go in and you just say, look, Your Honor, the DA's fucking wrong. Here's why. Now throw this out. And that's exactly what happened here.
Yep.
Which means the DA was that wrong. That wrong on a murder charge. But they're not, man, they're not coming for you. And wasn't this guy black?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Man, it's almost like if the left really wants to get rid of systemic racism, they throw out every gun law in the fucking books. God, I hate everything about this story. It makes me angry.
That's for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I see the bottom of this cup. That means it's time for the safety brief. You know what? Just before the safety brief, board over W. I'm assuming that's for Overwatch, because you're one of them nerds from Twitch, like our boy Boston Strong. And no, I'm not playing. What is that silly game? The
Minecraft?
No, Fortnite. Fortnite's the one that Boston Strong's always begging for. But Board Overwatch is asking questions, and so I'll give you a quickie here. I'm a veteran, he's not. You asked that question. We do the show live every morning at 7:30, and every Friday morning, the show is Firearms Friday. And what we do on Firearms Friday is we pull up a series of armed defense stories. Oh, hey, Board Overwatch says he's also a veteran, but from the Russian side. That's interesting.
You should send us a message.
So you definitely need to subscribe to this channel and watch us every Friday, so that you can get a better understanding of why the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, in America is a right that the rest of the world needs. That every single Earthling should have the unmolested right to keep and bear arms, because this kind of shit happens. It happens all over the world, not just in the U.S., and I don't care what the bad guy comes into your house with. He came into your home. If you can't be safe in your home, you're not safe anywhere. You know, the lefties are always talking about a safe space. Yeah, this is a safe space. because I will feed you a lead-rich dinner if you come into this space without the appropriate permission, without being invited. We won't play. And it's heartbreaking how often is the case that even though it is lawful to own a firearm, it is lawful absolutely in most states in the U.S. to defend your own life with deadly force, especially in your home. It is still the case that often in even like this one, clear-cut cases of self-defense, politically motivated left-wing prosecutors will attempt to hang people to make their career. People who are victims of crime. People who are victims of crime who refuse to go down as victims will then be victimized by the government for the unforgivable crime of refusing to be victimized by a Democrat voter. So that's what we do every Friday morning, is we cover the defensive gun use stories. So it is Friday. Nothing special going on this weekend except for the hurricane. So be careful out there. I mean, yeah, if your spot's one that needs to be evacuated, evacuate. It's high wind out there, even here where we're 10 hours north of the problem. It's high enough wind that I canceled drone flights yesterday and probably will again today. But be safe out there. Go out into the world and have a good time. Be safe. Don't fry bacon naked. And don't drive drunk. We will see you Monday morning. Oh, wait. I got one more thing now before I close out. I will be manning the Brushfire Mind tent at the GOP grassroots rally on Sunday, October 2nd. That's this Sunday, from 1 to 6. I'll probably be there at least an hour before it starts to set up everything. I believe my man Patrick's joining me Sunday as well. And we'll see if hopefully we get a few more Brushfire personalities out there. But I'll be running camera on the various speakers that will have. All of the current Georgia candidates have been invited. And we're very interested to see who does show up. So, all that, we love you, and we'll see you hopefully Sunday, but definitely Monday.
Wait. Bored. Look, find our Facebook page and send us a message.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you have
send
the time.
us a message. I got
you have
something.
the time, yeah.
We'll talk in a little bit. Later. Okay, just real quick, because Danny pointed out there. I don't know if I said the place. Sunday, October 2nd, this Sunday, Legion Park, Covington, Georgia, 1 to 6, live music, and as many of the candidates as we can get to show up. And we will see you hopefully there. Y'all be good.